Rebecca, how are you, darling?
Fine. And how are you?
Another drink.
Another drink? No. So, one for you.
And one for you.
One of your hobbies is grand pianos. Do you always have to touch a grand piano?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't play it much at home. I've got one of these at home.
Really?
And I
don't you play?
Well, if you come off tour and you've been playing all the time, or you come back from the studio, usually only when I write. I don't usually sit down and play for pleasure, but I like to play when I'm writing. So, and I don't write very much. Well, I don't write that much at all.
Yeah.
I write maybe twice a year. And so then I use it. But mostly I write on synthesizer now. So.
Yeah, because I always thought that the composer is sitting behind the piano and plays and write down afterwards.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't even usually record it. I just, all the way we've written, Bernie writes the songs on a piece of paper. Yeah. Then I sit down and write, play it over and over again, and then I can remember it. And I used to write 6 and 7 songs, and I can remember them the next day, luckily enough. But as you get older, it's harder, you see.
Yeah, but you record it then?
Yes, then you record it,
yeah, sure. So, let's talk about your relationship with Bernie. If Bernie writes the lyrics, you sit down behind the piano and say, how does this sound? Or how?
No, we never collaborate at all.
No?
Never have done. He writes the lyrics. I mean, he lives in Los Angeles, so he'll send them to me. Or actually, when we wrote the lyrics, we wrote the songs for the Ice on Fire album, he came over to England and wrote the lyrics, and then I have a little studio at my house now with a drum machine, and we did demos of the songs, which we haven't done for a long time, and it was a good idea because you can put the song down and then come back and listen to it the next day. And he just gives me the lyric, and then I sit there, and he'll go downstairs and I'll say, Bernie, it's ready, come and hear it. And it's never been one of those, well, what do you think of this? And, well, I think you should do that. It's just completely separate, but it works that way, so we don't question it. I just wrote something the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have 2 stools to do it.
When I get to Paris, da-da-da-da-da.
Tonight you're going to Paris, by the
I'm
way.
going to Paris tonight, yes.
Your real name is Reginald Kenneth
It was,
Blythe.
yes. I managed to change it, but it was so horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not a good name.
It sounds good. Real English.
No, it's terrible. Reginald is a name that you associate with 60, 70-year-old people, and you can't look at a baby and say, Reginald, you know? You think, my God, it's kind of like Herbert or Oswald.
Yeah.
Oswald, darling.
So, Elton, who's Elton?
Elton, when I became Elton John, and when I had to choose a name, I was playing piano with a guy called Long John Baldry many years ago. So I chose the John from his name, and I thought, well, if I'm going to choose a name, I've got to choose an unusual one. And there was a saxophone player in the band called Elton Dean.
Yeah.
And I thought Elton John, so that was the way.
Yeah.
A lot of people in America thought it should be the other way. They always say, hiya, John.
Yeah. How are your friends are calling you, by the way?
Huh?
How are your friends calling
Sharon,
you?
they call me.
They call you Sharon?
Sharon, yeah. Well, we've all got girls' names. Rod Stewart's Phyllis.
Let's talk about I'm Still Standing.
Yeah.
The clip.
The clip.
What can you tell me?
Well, that was made by Russell Mulcahy, who's done a lot of my video clips. We went to the south of France to do it, and we had 2 days. So Russell shot the first day, or part of the first day, and then he was on a pier, a jetty, and he fell into the sea with the camera, so it ruined the whole of the first day's film. So
and ruined the camera as well.
Yeah, and we did everything in one day, all the whole.
The video clip was very important for Nikita as well.
Oh, yeah.
I loved the song, but the video clip was important.
Well, you see, Nikita, I knew that Nikita was a man's name, you see.
Yeah.
But it was the subject matter on Nikita was very hard to actually put on film. I didn't want it to be too heavy, because it was kind of like it's kind of an optimistic song anyway. It's a nice up song.
Yeah, but it's also because of Hania.
Yeah. But the Ken Russell who did the video said, well, you got this girl in
How did he
who's
find
stunning.
her, by the way?
I don't know, but he's got a great eye for, she's stunning. And she was a bit scared, I think, because Ken's very much of a disciplinarian, but, he found her, and those eyes, you can't forget those eyes, can you? They're beautiful.
And the special, the way her face
in uniform, yeah. Oh, you should see her in the Cossack outfit.
You're a uniform addict, are you?
Yeah, bus conductors are my specialty.
What can you tell me about the song For Guy?
That was written one day just by, I was recording a single man album, and I was on a Sunday, and I just sat down and wrote the instrumental.
Please.
that's more. I more or less played everything on it, apart from a little bit of percussion. And I wrote it and recorded it all one day because I like to write. If I write instrumentals on my albums, they're usually very sad and very mournful, and I'm very sort of melodramatic. How can I say?
Oh yeah, but that's what I love.
Yeah, and so I just wrote it and recorded it, and then I didn't know what to call it, and we called it Song for Guy because it was a young boy in our office, the messenger boy.
Yeah.
Was killed on that day. I didn't know he died on that day, but he was killed on his motorbike. And because he was such a sweetheart, I thought I'll just call it. I knew it was about death because I write a lot about death. I love very sad and wistful music. I never used to like classical music that much when I was, when I had to play it as a child. But now, when I look back on it...
Let's talk about that, because you started to play the piano when you were 4 years
old.
Yeah,
and that was by ear, you see. And then my parents said, hey, come on, if you can play, you can pick... Your furry leaves. Have you got a furry leaves?
Yeah.
Stop it. No, what was I saying? Yes, I picked up the piano quite early. I was very strong. And then my parents said, well, you should have lessons. And I didn't, I was forced to have lessons, and I went to the Royal Academy of Music in London every Saturday after school. And so I kind of resented it because I had to went to school Monday to Friday. I had the Academy Saturday, and I'd do my homework Sunday. So I kind of didn't give me any time, and I really didn't appreciate, apart from Chopin, and Bach, with a brilliant
I love Chopin.
Chopin is the most beautiful melodic writer.
That's melodic, and that's tragic, and that's everything you
so that's, yes. But I appreciate it much more now. I'm glad my parents did. If anybody's out there and they've got a natural talent for playing the piano, and their parents say, well, you should have lessons. Even though you don't like it, have it, because it's really worth it.
Do you have still time for family life? Because you're traveling a lot nowadays.
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course. And we've been married 2 years, about a week's time. And it's flown by, which is a good sign.
Oh,
I'm very, very happy. I don't talk about it much, but I've always maintained that my private life should be private. But we are very happy. She's been very good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She knows the business because
she was
a sound engineer.
Yes, she's an engineer.
She still is?
No, she hasn't had much time. She's been involved reorganising the house and putting women's touches everywhere, and it's great. We got someone and come home now and see things are put in the right place. It's great. It's very good.
She doesn't travel with you?
She does. She comes to the best places when she can, on tour. But she doesn't like to go on tour, and it's really not a good idea. Our wives on tour is not a good idea. Diane's out there. I've seen it cause so many problems. No. I took all my clothes off. No, I took all my clothes off in Tampa.
All your clothes?
No, not all. No, but most of them. Not a pleasant sight. But I was soaking wet. That's why. But I did come on.
Why you did it?
I did come on stage last year as Tina Turner. You know the clip where she does Love?
Yeah.
What's Love Got to Do with It? I got the exact clothes and came on in Madison Square Garden for the encore. Didn't tell anybody, and I came on with a 12-inch miniskirt, high-heeled shoes, and I walked across the stage. It was very hard to walk across the stage. But when I came back on, there was silence. There was, who's this coming on stage? And then I sat down and played. When are you gonna come? Oh, it's him. But I was quite pleased with my legs, I've never really liked my legs before, but in those tights, they look bloody good.
There's only one question. Can I see your eyes for a moment? Good.
Got lovely eyelashes.
Oh, you do? Beautiful.
My mum used to say you got more hair on your eyelashes than you have on your head.
And I think your mum doesn't like that you're wearing all these big glasses.
No, she does. No, it's right.
Yeah.
I wear contacts a lot, but I forgot to bring them today, so I've got these ones. I mean, when I've got all my glasses.
You really look different.
Yeah, I do, yeah. It totally alters my face.